Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back, where this week, this episode, I'm going to be reviewing, well, here, it's been a long journey. I will be reviewing the entirety of the first season of High School Musical, the musical, the series, which has just wrapped to a close last week. Now, if you were unaware, if this is your first time, I actually reviewed the entire first season on this channel for What's on the Tube throughout the past 9 weeks. Yeah, because 10 weeks, yeah, because 10 weeks for me because I watched the ABC premiere, so that's why I was able to get a head start on everyone else. Well, I wasn't the only one, but you know what I mean. So this is my first time I'm reviewing a whole season, so bear with me. I'm still new to this game, so if I'm a little bit like short-strung or I'm a little bit like not good with my words. I'm never good with my words, but I'm trying my best here. So please let me know in the comments below how I can improve this in later season reviews, as there will be more of that coming up in the future. This is just the first one, so again, apologies. But if you want to hear my entire full thoughts on every single individual episode, please go to ActionX, go for What's on the Tube, and all 10 episode reviews are up there. This is just a collaboration, a culmination of the last 10 episodes into one. How did season 1 perform? And honestly, end of the day, end of the level, end of the whole season, this was probably one of the best seasons of TV I've ever seen. This is probably another example why I love musicals, musical comedies. I have a soft spot for high school romances because I never had one. Pity aside, I generally do believe that this is probably and it's weird to say because this on Disney Plus, I always assumed that it was going to be The Mandalorian that was going to be the one show to kind of like be that show, to be critically acclaimed, loved by everyone from start to finish. And for me personally, it wasn't that show. It was this show right here. This was the show that was the one that, barring a couple of minor gripes I had with the very beginning of the season, it transformed itself into another show halfway through that I loved, and I can't wait to see where they explore that journey forward into season 2 and hopefully more. Hopefully, I hope this is the first season of many. I hope it's not like a 2-season tale, but I'm pretty sure I'll probably get more. But that's next week. Well, I'll have a whole video about season 2 predictions next week. But anyway, back to this. It's one of the rare cases where I'm still debating if I should consider this a 2019 season or a 2020 season. I'm not really sure. I'm going to consider more 2019 because they come out, most of the episodes they come out in 2019. So, but it wasn't finished, but sad to say. I think out of this current TV season, overall, from the usual September to May format, it is a very high contender for my number 1 pick. And that's saying a lot because I love The Rookie season 2. But of course, obviously, they're two thematically different shows, but you know what I mean. You see what I'm talking about. It's just that for some reason, High School Musical, the musical. Well, to cut to that, when I first started watching the movies when I was a kid, I loved those movies so much. It was a guilty pleasure of mine, and I never was able to properly express it because when I was growing up, I didn't have a single friend that loved High School Musical as much as I did. I didn't even have a single friend that even watched the movies. Like I forced my friend group at the time to see senior year with me in theaters, and it came out on my birthday, so I kind of guilted them and like, hey, it's my birthday, let's go see High School Musical 3. So be able to talk about this on this platform, as well as seeing because the High School Musical franchise basically has been dead since '08. Like there was talks for a Madison High TV spinoff with the original Miss Darvis actress that never picked up. There was talk for High School Musical 4. I mean, there's Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, but we don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that. So this was in many ways the real continuation, even though it's not in that world. It's more like it's inspired by that world, and we're picking up in a fictional version of our own world. And where I felt this show had a lot to prove, because this was in many ways the next installment in this franchise. So it had a lot of weight to bury, as well as being a whole new cast. And so whenever it comes to a cast taking over a very well-known IP such as High School Musical, it's a huge challenge for the actors and actresses, because they don't want to disappoint anyone. They don't, because there's a huge legacy fan base as well as inspiring new fans. to this franchise, and hopefully through Disney Plus they're able to see the original movies, which I do highly recommend you see the original movies. I feel like when I was starting this show, I was kind of expecting, like, the thing is with Disney Plus is that it's a streaming service, it's gonna be a bit iffy on the rocks, and it's not like I've ever had any doubts on High School Musical, the series. It's just that I always had this back in my mind that, okay, it's probably not going to be as good as the end of the day. It's going to be bare minimum okay, and I would have to accept that. And then obviously it got renewed for season 2 shortly before the premieres. I'm like, okay, this is going to be sticking around for a while. And then seeing the first episode, going through a couple of cliche tropes that we're getting this love triangle thing, and one of the boys is stupid, and we have a very attractive, super popular teenager dating our. I still consider Nini the heroine of the story. I still do. We see a bunch of, like, this very typical drama teacher who clearly wasn't someone who failed in the business, so she's trying to hopefully still have some value in her life by, teaching young kids that they could be successful too when she wasn't. And that kind of sounds like a harsh thing to say, but it's true. It's true. So when it came to that, it very much, in the first episode alone, I'm like, okay, there's something here. I mean, I think they're on the start of something new, which is ironic. But I just never. I initially had a good amount of doubts, and obviously, like, I didn't know much of the characters' names. Like, I only knew maybe the core, like, out of the core 4 in this picture, I only knew, like, the 3. I only knew those names, and the rest of the names, like, it takes a while for me to get. And it's also a new show. I don't read that much into press releases. I don't watch trailers that much. Well, I do watch trailers, but I only typically watch the main trailers and not really much of the other promotional material. And it definitely took a while. It took a while for me to get on board with it, and I think for 2, 3, and 4, those episodes very much kept the track going. Where it's like, okay, it feels samey, and I still enjoyed it. I still thought there were some good moments off it, but obviously there were some cliche moments, like Nini debating, like, oh, does she still like Ricky, and EJ being jealous, and everyone, Miss Jen trying way too hard to impress her students. And for some reason, a good amount of the students didn't even care about the musical. And Gina was being a typical, like, rival, like Sharpay sort of thing. And there were at least, like, trying to, like, jive in the High School Musical stuff and also trying to do its own thing. And I didn't really think they found a real balance to it yet. And I think something I forgot to mention when I was doing the episode by episode reviews is that apparently the original showrunner, he just left the show. I think it was a he. Well, the original showrunner, no matter either way, they left the show. So there had to be a new showrunner to step in. So I'm not sure if it was like there was a change of plans, or maybe it was because maybe they didn't like the direction he was going in, but they still already shot the footage, and because they are using the real school from Albuquerque for the filming location, they only had a limited time to, like, okay, we can't reshoot everything, so let's just, slowly change things up. And then I think it was episode 5 where, yes, this is where we need to go. And we were ditching the whole, for the moment, Nini being trapped in a love triangle. We were not having Nini become the typical girl who was like, okay, my boyfriend cheated on me. Not cheated. My boyfriend betrayed my trust this one time. I'm going to give him another chance. She did not pull the punches. And we slowly got to see every single character kind of come to their own. And, shortly but short, episode 5, we got to see more of Carlos's character, and you don't get to see more of him. And then slowly, but throughout, we slowly got to see more and more of the background. Like, no offense, I know these are the principal cast. It's just like the focus was on Nini, EJ, Ricky. But and that's another thing that I have the show credit for. Like, they took Gina, who could have just been the typical rival character who just wanted to be better than everyone else. They could have just stuck with that, and maybe I would have just wrote it off. But the fact that gave her an actual character journey, that I had a complete 90-degree turn with her character. I did not expect that at all. Ricky went from being a very emotionless, I didn't give a damn about him, he makes a lot of stupid mistakes, which again, that's what most teenagers do. But I just generally did not find any emotion into where, in his initial attempts to get Nini back, there was no emotion. He was just doing it because he wanted her back. He didn't feel comfortable with EJ doing it, and EJ felt like the jealous boyfriend, and Nini was just the girl like, oh, I'm getting all this attention. And keep in mind, I still was always Team Nini from the beginning. It just felt like even Nini at certain points was like she didn't really like she kind of like she had her innocent kind of like the regular like, hey, I still have my beliefs type of person, but then there were moments where like she was looking at Ricky, it's like, oh, maybe I like him, and then she's like, oh, she's with EJ, like, I'm so lucky to have him, and like having this confidence boost. So there was like Nini was the kind of the more weirdly balanced character. It was like she was getting the typical trope, but also trying to be being a very different character from those tropes. And then when we got to episode 5, it definitely, again, total change with the whole thing. For me, I think it was a whole new show by that point, where Nini said no. When she said no and said no to EG and kind of ended it with him, it was like, yes, yes, yes. This is exactly what this happened to happen. Oh, no, this happened in episode 4, I believe. Did it happen in episode 4? It's been so long, so I'm like, I'm sorry if I'm mixing. I think it was episode 4 is when she broke it off, and then episode 5 was kind of like her returning moment to, no. So it was episode 4 where they broke it off. Episode 5 was kind of like, no, so episode 4 was the moment was like, yes, this is the right direction we need to go. Then in episode 5, which was Homecoming, we get to see Nini kind of embracing this new side of herself, her single self with her best friend, in an amazing freaking song, I Was Born This Way, I believe. I think it was the same. I forgot what was the name of the song. And, getting to see that moment and also seeing another side of Ricky and briefly Gina, which initially I thought Gina was like, oh, this was going to be a whole ploy to get her to be the next Gabriella. But no, that was the beginning of like a real character journey. And we got to see more of Ricky's emotions, dealing with his divorce from his parent, dealing with the fact like maybe Nini is gone from him, maybe he can never get her back, and now he's stuck in this place. So it's like he's slowly starting to get a character that I am loving the journey. And then as we get to see more episodes full out, we get to see Nini more rounded out. We get to see Ricky have more of those emotions, have more of those vulnerabilities, and really, at least for me personally, it's what made me finally connect with him. And for Gina, opening herself up not just to us, the viewers, who I'm pretty sure there's probably some other people that thought like me, like, oh, she's playing the long con. She's a conniving person who's trying to get the role. But we got to see more about her backstory. We got to hear more. We got to feel for her. And then the moments that she had in the last 2 episodes, the 2 episodes, was like, those were earned. Those were earned moments where she had a family. She has a family here in I forgot the name of the school, East High. Let's just call it East High. And that was just so amazing that they were able to do that. They were able to convince me, a person who was very stubborn on, thinking like, oh, characters like this, and if you put them like that, they're never gonna change. And they did it. They actually did that change, and they brought more vulnerabilities to the characters. They brought more elements to the characters, like Carlos could have like easily a Ryan clone with the choreography thing, but you get to feel for him that before Miss Jen showed up, he had no friends, he had no family to call his own. There was no musical production that he can fully get involved with, and then all this happened, and then he had friends, he had a family, he had all that, and he felt, and he probably even has a boyfriend. It's like he's getting all that he wanted, but it all took due time, and it's another life lesson that they transition beautifully to the show, where it's like everything has its moment, everything has its time, and the right people in your life are out there. Now, again, it is high school, so things could change, but whatever. In this moment, it's like, let's just keep it in high school. Let's not focus on college or anything. I mean, let's not. Then we got to see, we saw Big Red and Ashley kind of like, I expected totally different things from the characters. I didn't even know their names till like midway through the episode reviews, and then they just conveyed so much a different like energy to the group, and I loved it. I hope they explore more about them, especially now that they're in a relationship. Actually, I should clarify. There would be some minor spoilers here. crud! I should have warned everyone. Again, this is my first time doing a season review, so spoilers are inbound. I'm sorry. You should watch the show. I really recommend you watch the show. That's the whole point of the review to get you to watch the show. I think Miss Jen was a very different character. Again, she could have been the typical, like, I was half expecting her, like, every single week we were going to get some sort of, like, very drawn-out joke about how she was in the original movie, but she was cut from the original movie, that sort of thing. And it was kind of, like, going like that for a while, but then we got to see more about her character, more about her regrets in life, you know, being at the premiere of the movie and then not seeing her scene, and getting to see her, like, interact with other adult characters, adults like Ricky's dad and, you know, the robotics teacher. And that was just so sweet that she was finally getting, like, she is the center of this show, even though it's not on the scale that she was initially anticipating growing up. And I think another couple of minor things is that they did a good job of, like, bringing modern elements into the High School Musical franchise with the divorce, same-sex relationships, equality. I think what else did they include? I completely forgot. And they were doing so many different things with source material, but still respecting it with the song tracks and such. And the cameos. Oh God, Marfa's cameo was, like, brief, but that was just an awesome cameo. And then the Ryan cameo was like, did we really need a Ryan cameo? Did we really need it? I'm still happy we did. I'm really happy for Lucas Gabriel. I'm happy where he is, and for him to come back and, like, see the new generation of High School Musical cast and kind of, like, hopefully, like, kind of guiding them along on their amazing journey as he did years ago. And getting to see Ernie again. If you guys watch George Lopez, the 04 show, not those George Lopez-esque shows where he tried to, like, kickstart a new career. It didn't work. Sorry. Loved him. He was very brief, but it was, like, very firm, Ernie. I always will consider you Ernie, whatever your actor's name is. I always consider you Ernie. But obviously, with any TV show, in any TV season, I do have some criticism. Obviously, the beginning of the show did shake me a couple points in the wrong way. But you could easily say, was the point of it was like the way they wrote in the beginning, and then they kind of changed things out when they were progressing, or it could also be that it was just the showrunner change that happened, and maybe, you know, things changed and they actually managed to make an improvement for the better, in my opinion, if that was the case. I did not like the fact that you were going to use hashtag Team Ricky or EJ. I didn't like that at all. I was vocal against it from the start. I was never on board with that. Hashtag Team ED always. And what was the other thing I was going to say? I didn't like the fact they kind of rushed the musical aspect of it. I mean, again, it's 10 episodes. These are all 20-minute episodes, so you couldn't stretch that much. I don't know why. I always assumed that we were going to get a more drawn out musical process, seeing the behind the scenes musical, because the first movie we only just saw the rehearsal side of it. We never got to see the real musical. The second movie wasn't even a musical; it was just a talent show. And the third movie was, I guess you could say, was more of the musical process, but there was just so much drama with the senior year stuff going on and the whole plot of that movie that we didn't really get to see that. So I don't know, I was kind of low-key hoping we were going to get that, and we didn't. I guess maybe that's just something I wanted, and then we didn't get it, but I still very much preferred the episodes where we didn't focus on the musicals. But then again, this is a musical show, so we need to go back to the musical. And I just felt like they kind of rushed we went from tech rehearsal to the show day. I mean, maybe for once, maybe we could have gotten 13 episodes. I think maybe I would have loved to see more episodes from this. I'm actually kind of bummed out that we didn't get more episodes. We're still waiting for new episodes. They haven't even shot the second season yet, so I'm a little bit bummed out. We haven't gotten that yet. Is there any other criticisms I have? Oh yeah. The big elephant in the room, EJ. I have remained vocal on this throughout the first season reviews, during each episode breakdown. I never liked EJ as a character. I think he's still the one thing that's like, I'm questioning, like, what was his purpose? I mean, again, that sounds so disrespectful, because I think people say, oh, he had a quick character journey. Go ahead, tell me. I'm actually curious. Like, EJ started out as, like, a senior who had it all, who had the popular Instagram following, who had this a brand new junior girlfriend, and he had his life straight. He's on a sports team. He's attractive. He's gonna be the lead of the musical. Like he's Mr. Perfect. And I guess the problem is the way you start out when you make a Mr. Perfect character, and then and especially in a TV show or movie, when you're kind of unraveling that character, like I will admit we did get to see glimpses of that, but we never really like explored any single tangent. Like seeing him confess to his sins, that only took up an episode, and then we didn't really get to anything about that. We got to see him falling from social media lordship, or highership, whatever you want to call it, lord social media popularity or something like that. We got to see that, but we never got to see that again. Never was explored again. He always second guessed himself. He second guessed when someone was critical of him. He tried to prove them wrong, but it didn't really work out that way. That was never explored again. And he only had one shining moment in the season finale where he did the right thing, the right thing, so to speak, and he did the correct thing, which I guess you could say that was kind of like the heroic moment for him. It's like he knew this is the right thing to do, and he let it happen. And I guess that's not really what I was expecting from his character. At this point, I don't even know what to expect from EJ going forward in season 2. I really don't know. I don't know, honestly. I feel like there's a lot of work to be done with his character, and there's a lot of directions they could take for him. Will they actually happen? Who knows? I feel like I prefer his cousin Ashley more as a character than him, to be honest. And I could be wrong. I mean, again, let me know in the comments. Like, was I wrong? Does EJ have a character journey? For me, I didn't see it. I personally didn't see it. I mean, maybe because this was just an ensemble cast that there's just too many things to focus on. I guess they haven't really focused on him that much beyond the halfway mark. They kind of just wrote him in, like, oh, he's in the shell, let's just put him in there. Actually, that's a perfect way. Let's talk about the characters. I talked about more of the story. Let's talk about the characters. I think the actor who played Ricky didn't really sold me in the beginning, but then as the episodes progressed, especially in the last 3 episodes, he definitely sold me. Like, okay, this is a real character. This is someone that I related to. This is someone I feel for him, and this is someone that has definitely been through a lot of change. And you can obviously say that he's definitely the Troy Bolton of the show, where he started out as one thing because he was thinking like this is the way things are, and then he slowly unraveled because of events, and then he got to become hopefully a better person. And he did a really good job, and I forgot I don't know any of the actors' names, to be completely honest with you. I don't read the cast list. I'm sorry. But no, the actor who played Ricky did a really good job. Playing a more awkward version. He was definitely not the Troy Bolton people were expecting. But again, I don't think anyone was. But I consider he was the front and center male lead. I guess there were some expectations for his character. Initially, it didn't falter. It faltered a bit for me, but then they really picked things back up, going past the halfway mark. Nene, hands down, best character. She's been through a lot, and we got to see her struggles and her. She opened up a lot, and she has a lot for her future coming up. And she's been for, like I said before, she's been for a lot. She's went for 2 boyfriends, and going forward, it's wanting for her to discover who she is, and that's definitely something everyone could relate to. Figuring out where you belong specifically, and what's the best for you, for yourself, and maybe at some point what is better for you and the people you surround yourself with. And she definitely had to deal with that a lot this season, and finding herself. We're finding more about Nene as the season progresses. I don't think we know the real Nene yet. I think there's still more for her to learn going forward, but the actress did a great job portraying someone that's like Gabriella, but also like being her own thing. And I talked about AJ already, so I'm skipping her. Gina was probably Nene, I probably think is still the best character. Gina was definitely the most unexpected character, where the actress played her so well. It's like she's a douchebag, she's a rival. I apologize for my language, by the way. She knows how to. She was just a rival, and I would have been perfectly fine with that just being the trope for the remaining season. And obviously that's like all TV trope 101. It's like, here's the rival character. All she's going to do is rivalry things, be a schemer, try to find, a way to get, Nene off the show so she could be the lead. And then I think it was for Ricky that she's like, there's there's good in people, and she was able to open herself up to him, and then from there we got to see more of her character, more of her story, and you feel for her. Like, she never could call any place her home, and it's another correlation to the Gabriella character from the movies, where she never found a place of her own because she kept moving. It's not her fault. Her parents' jobs, pays the bills, so where the money goes, they follow, and it's not. It's also another side effect, another unexpected side effect of like trying to find the right career for yourself. Because what about your kids? You keep uprooting them from their lives, where it's like this one felt very much hurtful for Gina, because like she finally found a friend group that accepted her, that loved her, and they all cheered for her at the end, and it was heartbreaking to see her initially, having to step away from that, and hopefully next season we'll get to see her like explore, okay, what is next, because this is going to be all new territory for her, and I'm very excited for that. And I think the Miss Jen definitely broke through the whole typical fail as an actress, fail as an actor, I'm going to be a drama teacher trope, where it's like she never wanted to be a drama teacher. She never did, and she saw this as an opportunity to still get some time in the spotlight, and getting to see her break for her demons, her ghosts of her past, and being able to push forward and become this new person, and seeing the possibility that is out there. And obviously she still has many more trials ahead of her. Not just because she's finished her first production doesn't mean her problems are far from over. It's not far from over. And I'm very much curious to see where we take her next, now that this production's done, and going forward into the next season. But in this season alone, the actors did a great job portraying that very awkward, so to speak, teacher that doesn't know how to act around her students, because she's trying to oh, I'm still a star, and then she's like, oh, I'm also a teacher, and trying to deal with the other adult characters in the show. It's like, oh, this is what real one-on-one respect feels like, because I feel like we never got to see this part of her backstory, but I'm pretty sure she's felt many times downgraded, never felt like part of something, where here she kind of does, or at least is starting to feel part of it. So we'll see how that goes. Big Red, Carlos, Ashley, and I think that's all the main characters that I remember. Certainly more, I'm forgetting. Courtney, yeah, all did fantastic jobs in their supporting roles. I do hope we get to see more of their stories continue on, but they all did a great job with the characters. These characters are very much likable, and they're very much not annoying. Sometimes they bring out some funny moments. All great singers. So again, I can't wait to see where their character journeys take them next season. And I think that is it. I think that's it. So overall, I loved I love this show. I love this season. I think it's, again, barring a couple of minor missteps along the beginning, I think this is probably one of the best TV seasons I've seen this television season. I think I can make a case for it in the overall series. I don't think I will, but it did just a great job telling a great story from start to finish. Again, minor missteps. Have to keep mentioning that. Every great story is going to have a couple minor missteps. This is not a masterpiece per se, but it definitely did do the job. It definitely was able to tell their story. And now that this chapter's over, where does the next chapter leave all the entire crew and the entire all the characters? Where do we see them next? Again, I apologize for my grammar. My grammar's not the best. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I commend Disney for finally giving us the next step in the High School Musical franchise. And there's a lot of things I want to talk about for season 2, but that'll be next time. But overall, on my recommendation scale, the Joe recommendation scale, let's throw it out there. Should you watch High School Musical, the series, season 1, only on Disney Plus? Yes, definitely watch it. I think this is something that I love the week-to-week format. I think it was just the right level of keeping you intrigued enough to come back the next week. I don't think this would have been a show that would have been a typical Disney show where it's okay, we get episodes, and then we're on a break for a while, and then we're back. I don't think it would have worked that way. I think this was the right fit for Disney Plus, and I feel like this show definitely had to be the whole streaming service format where it is available on, through that method, and I feel like they did a great job on that front. I would have loved more episodes, but hopefully they'll have more stories to tell next season. And yeah, I'm not gonna do like out of 10 or 10 or 5 stars. I'm not gonna do that. It's not. It doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't. I can't do that anymore. So it's just like my recommendation level. I would extremely highly implore you to watch it. If you already have a Disney Plus subscription, it's already on there. Plus all the movies. So give that a look see. And there's So and if you're a High School Musical fan that was on the fence on the show, don't worry about it. You're gonna love the show. And I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say. That's all the Joe has to say about this show. And it's hard to say goodbye. I mean, it's not even like I still have one more thing to do, but that's more about the future. Like I'm already done. This is probably the end of my season 1 coverage. Like I'll probably reference to this and when we do season 2 episode reviews, whenever that is. And yeah, that's it. So overall, 2 thumbs up, 2 big thumbs up. Go watch the show. Go watch High School Musical, the musical, the series, season 1. Hopefully, it'll be released on DVD. Disney likes making that money. Yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Anyway, if you were unaware, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX, bringing you the first ever season review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or criticisms, let me know in the comments. I'm always open to conversation. I'm always open to like hearing feedback. That was on my end. So anyway, so what's coming up on What's on the Tube? Overall on High School Musical, the series, there's one more video overall coming up for this stretch of time period. Damn you. That will be next week. We're going to do a season 2 predictions and hopes video. We'll talk about everything about season 2 from there. Can't wait for that. I'll be recording that very soon, just to kind of like bankroll those episodes, since there really isn't much to wait about it anymore. And then after that will be that'll be the end of the High School Musical coverage. But before then, if you want to know what else What's on the Tube has to offer, we do Nancy Drew episode reviews. It's coming back this Thursday, since the show's coming back from its winter break. We also do The Rookie, but it's sadly still on break till February, so no need to talk about that. We're doing a one-off Crisis on Infinite Earths review this Friday with my long-running host and collaborator George will be on that review. Can't wait to finally have someone to speak to right here doing the show. Like I've been doing this alone. It feels lonely, but I still love it. And but if you only care about High School Musical stuff, next week's the last week for a while, and we'll talk. And again, if you want to know what else is coming up on the Saturday time slot for What's on the Tube, stay tuned for that next episode where we talk about season 2. So, but overall, if you're just here for the season 1 review, again, go out and watch it. Go out and watch them all. All 10 episodes are available on Disney Plus. Hopefully, they'll get a DVD release. I want that DVD release. Come on. You can't put the High School Musical 1 DVD in the show and don't expect me to get a season 1 DVD of this show. Make the DVD release happen, Disney. Again, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to, please subscribe for more What's on the Tube and also the other content we make. Ring the bell for notifications. Like, share, favorite the video if you want to. And I'll see you guys next week if you're interested in my season 2 thoughts. See ya.